Helicopter crashed into a crane on top of an under-construction building in central London at about 1:30 p.m. India time, which was about 8 o'clock London time. Now, what we do know is that 2 people have died in that crash and the aftermath. 2 others have been injured. We have Lavina joining us live on the phone line from London, where this mishap has taken place. Lavina, what's the latest? Do we know if the situation is now finally under control? What are the numbers as far as the casualties being reported out of London is concerned?
Well, the answer to the first question is that yes, they have been whistling to the fire brigade head, and it says that the situation is under control. The fire has been put out. The fire has also caught the buildings nearby, and that has been put off. The people have been removed from that area. The entire area has been cordoned off. Buses and all the traffic has not been going there. The station has been shut. So the situation is definitely under control. As far as casualties are concerned, 2 have died, 2 have been injured and taken to the St. Thomas Hospital. These injuries are minor, but 1 person also has been rescued from a motorbike while all this was going on. No other casualty has been reported and is expected as well. So far for that situation, the air traffic team and the inspection team is reaching to figure out why this happened. In all probability, it was because there was heavy fog in central London at this point in time when the incident happened, and there were no navigation lights. The helicopter was flying very low. There are 60 firefighters there, ambulance and police still there working on that area. But as far as the area goes, it's safe but cordoned off.
Right, Lavina, also do tell us if you have more details really on the mysterious circumstances under which this helicopter crashed into the crane. Do we know where it was headed? Do we know more details about the pilot who died in the crash?
No, we don't know any more details about the pilot who died in the crash, but we are expecting that it is because it was flying so low, it must be heading towards the Battersea heliport, which is there. Though there are many heliports at the in that area, but the Battersea heliport was the closest, and it could have been flying to that heliport when it was, but we do not know exactly where it was going. As I mentioned, the air traffic inspection team has reached the spot, and very soon they would be coming in with more reports about what really happened and why this was flying so low and crashed into the building. But as of now, they're saying it's because of the mist that this has happened, and no navigation lights on top. Thankfully, this was a construction site. Not many people had reached there, but it was a very busy time. There were a lot of eyewitnesses as a result, and everyone seems to have been shocked, and so they have been spoken to by various paramedics because they are in complete shock and are calling this incident completely surreal.
Completely surreal is what they're terming it as. We also have Shiv Arur joining us live from the newsroom. Shiv, London woke up to this horrific morning really, where, okay, before I go to Shiv, let's just cut across to Al Jazeera, a report being filed by them. Let's just listen in.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find out about that in the next couple of hours or so. Thank you for that, Jessica. Those dramatic pictures coming after a chopper crash in London. At least 3 people have been killed in a suicide car bombing in Kabul. The blast damaged the headquarters of Afghanistan's intelligence.
All right, the latest coming out of London is that 2 people are dead, 2 injured really in that crash that took place early this morning at about 8 o'clock. We have Shiv Arur joining us from the newsroom. Shiv, coming to you, like I said earlier, it seemed like London woke up to this horrific morning. A lot of people took to social networking sites really, some of them who were eyewitness to this entire incident that took place, some of them coming out talking about, how astonishing and horrific it was. In fact, we also have some news coming in from the London radio station LBC that said that the driver of the crane was late for work. Otherwise, well, there could have been another casualty that was reported out of London really, being the 3rd. But this driver of this crane was late for work, and it was a miraculous really survival for him really, because he wasn't there where this entire incident took place. So coming back to your Shiv, the question is, a lot of people talking about what really happened there. Lavina still with us on the phone line. Lavina, any official information coming in as we speak? It's been about 2 hours since we broke the story. Any official, any administrator coming out talking about the incident, putting some more figures in perspective, talk about what really happened, how this tragedy really unfolded in central London? All right, we seem to have lost the line with Lavina as well. Well, a quick recap of what really happened at 8 o'clock this morning. A helicopter has crashed into rush hour traffic really. At about 8 o'clock this morning, you had a helicopter, a chopper, hit a crane in South London, a building that was under construction, after which it hurtled to the street. It seemed like there was a motorbike out there, a man who was driving that motorbike, riding it, and he also died due to the crane falling on him. The pilot also of this chopper is dead, reportedly dead. So we have the figures, casualties really at 2. We also have 2 people who have been injured because of this crash. Now what we do know is that the stricken helicopter turned into a fireball and spiraled into the ground. That's what a lot of people, a lot of eyewitnesses had to say. What we also do know is that the part of the damaged crane is understood to have hurtled to the ground. That's where the other casualty really took place. The second person that we've been speaking about, one being the pilot, the other being the man who's riding that bike, who was crushed by the crane really. We have 2 people who've been injured. Also, what we do know is that a pall of smoke was visible moments after this crash took place. This is right next to the River Thames at the scene. Also, this is a very central area as we speak, Avina. Very central area. It's a miracle really that though it is unfortunate that the casualty figures are at 2, this number really could have escalated to a big figure because this is central London that we're talking about.
Absolutely, absolutely right. This figure could have been more, and I definitely was expecting and very worried that at 8 a.m. But then we would remember that possibly people were just about reaching there or at the station. A lot of the time the offices are starting at 9 o'clock unless it's the bank. So that's why I guess it is all, the casualty is so low. A lot of the people would be on the buses and the train and not so many on the bridge or driving, so which is why again a less number of casualties I would think, but definitely very lucky, and definitely very lucky for the crane driver to not have arrived on time for work, which is what has saved his life. Casualties low, which is very fortunate, but unfortunate that this incident had to happen. But because of this incident, a lot of things would be looked at as to why what was not confirmed in a regulated area and a controlled area and the safest area apparently in the world to fly a helicopter for such an incident to have happened.
Lavina, stay with us. Rishabh Gulati, who was with us in the newsroom, is telling us more really of what happened moments after that crash took place, the aftermath, and how this is central London that we're talking about, and the figures really could have escalated. It's a miracle really that the numbers, the casualties that we're talking about is limited to 2 as of now.
All right, let's put in perspective what's really happened this morning in the city of London. For our viewers watching in India, this is Westminster, at the Westminster Bridge where the House of Parliament sits, south of the River Thames, familiarly known as the area of Vauxhall, where the Kennington Oval, the cricket ground, the Oval exists. That's where this accident, as is being described by the British authorities, has taken place, right on the south bank of the River Thames. Let's try to get you a better description that has been put together by eyewitness accounts. What seems to have happened is that this chopper has come in, hit a crane at a building construction site right next to the banks of the River Thames. Miraculously, the chopper pilot, either through dexterity or through just plain luck, managed to avoid a major office building, a 20-story office building, right on its path before flying over a flower market, and luckily for the people on the ground, hitting an empty lot right behind a parking lot right next to the railway tracks. And if you have a look at the damage that was done, imagine if this fireball had hit this office building. Things could have been a lot worse. The good news that for now, the British government doesn't feel it's a terror strike.
So 2 people have died after a helicopter crashed into a crane at a building site in central London. What we're also being told by people on the site, the rescue operation personnel out there, is that, well, it was misty, the weather was cold, and perhaps that could be one of the reasons, the strongest theory right now, as of now, doing the rounds for the reason behind this crash. What we do know is that 2 people are dead, one of them being the pilot, the other person being one of the citizens of London who was riding a bike when the crane really came down crashing on him. Also, what we do know is that as of now, the Vauxhall station remains closed, railway station. The tube stations across the area remain shut. As of now, the fire is under control. The situation is under control. There were 60 firefighters out there that who were taking stock of the situation. The burning wreckage lay on the road, but firefighters have brought the fire under control. A man was also rescued from a burning car by firefighters. He's one of the 2 people who's been rushed to a hospital nearby. The incident caused a gridlock all around the area, with all approaches really to the Vauxhall Cross one-way system closed at the height of rush hour. Remember, this happened at 8 o'clock this morning. A lot of people walking to work, a lot of people walking to the railway stations, to the tube stations. It's in fact a miracle really. What we do know, key developments really from the big breaking news coming in as of now. A terror attack has been ruled out. It seems that it's perhaps because of the weather, the misty conditions, that the pilot actually crashed into that crane that then hurtled onto the street, killing another person. Also, what we do know is that this building was under construction. It wasn't a building occupied by people. There weren't offices in this building. It wasn't a residential area. But what's surprising, Shiv, is that this is an area that we're talking about, which is in central London. A lot of offices around this area. It's a miracle really that this chopper actually crashed into an under construction building. The casualty figures could have been much higher.
Could have been much higher, and there are 2 people who've been killed, but you're absolutely right when you say the casualty figure could have been much higher, because considering that this happened in the morning in central London right next to Vauxhall, the fact is this is a time when it's extremely crowded. There's not just a lot of vehicular traffic but also pedestrian traffic. Take a look at this, this picture that we've got from Sky News, which gives you a sense of, this is Vauxhall just after the outside of the station has been evacuated just moments after this particular crash. And what you've got here is a crash that is right next to a couple of buildings. On the right hand side, which is off the frame of this particular snapshot, there are some high-rise buildings as well. So what you've got is the flight path of this particular helicopter, after clipping a crane, coming spiraling down, losing complete control, losing altitude, and then making impact right there on the pavement, right outside one of the buildings. So that gives you a sense of just how bad the impact was. This of course is a picture that was taken just shortly after impact. That's why all the fire. Here's another picture that gives you a sense of the damage on the ground. But you can't see a lot of people here because the emergency response in London, we're hearing, as usual, was very quick. There was a lot of alacrity with which they actually responded to the entire emergency. Now, the investigation into what really happened and what made that helicopter go down is going to be intensive, because they're going to be looking at things on a huge number of different levels. They're going to be looking at the crane operator. They will be looking at whether that crane was kept at the right altitude, whether the lighting assemblies were made, because remember, for all high-rise buildings, whether day or night, there are supposed to be high voltage lamps at the extremities of all buildings, all cranes, all construction material, simply for the purposes of flight safety. These are dictated in every country by the civil aviation regulators. And this particular helicopter was an Augusta Westland 109. It's a medium, it's a light transport helicopter. And I think it's miraculous, like you said, Vedika, that more people haven't been affected by this particular accident.